So like I said, in the absence of any question, we would be, or will be doing itself. Yeah, I remembered showing, let me share my screen quickly. I remember showing us how to add slicers to our charts. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? You all see my screen? Please, if anyone can see my screen, kindly confirm.
Yes,
to me.
I can see your screen.
Okay, okay, good. So let me go back. So right here, I showed us how to create, a pivot table and how to use a pivot table to create a chart. We're together. Then I also showed us how to add slicers. So let me add one slicer. You click on one of the pivot table, go to design, go to pivot analyze, then click on what? Insert what? Slicer. Now I told you to pick a category that you want for your slicer, be the class, the grade, the semester, subject name, student name or subject. And from here, I said let's pick class. Let's use class. Now, I remember showing us how it works in the sense that, sorry, let me put this way. Good. What Slicer does is that it makes our chat interactive. What do I mean by interactive? Meaning, if I want to see the performance of grade 12, once I click grade 12, this becomes interactive. So it gives me for science grade 12, math grade 12, history grade 12, and what English grade 12. Now, I don't think anybody has issues with that, like from the last class. If you have any issue, kindly call me back. Remember, this is how to close a slicer. This tab here. Sorry, close the filter on a slicer. Now, before we start creating dashboard, I told us that I'm going to show you how to use a slicer to make. Now, because we used one pivot table, which was this one, to generate this slicer, it made only this chart interactive. Remember, this chart is in line with what this pivot table. This chart is in line with what this pivot table here. So that's why when I click on grade 12, it was only this one that was responsive. But if I want this slicer that I created to be responsive for all of them, meaning if I click grade 12, I start showing me the number of students here. Do you understand? I can also see the average of each subject for that same grade 12. Instead of just seeing the number of students here, I can see the average for each subject for that same grade 12. How do I make one slicer become responsive for the other for multiple charts? How do I do it? I click on the slicer, this slicer that we created, I click on it, come to the slicer tab up here, and I click on what? Report connection. Report connection is saying that slicer I've created, what chart should it be connected to? Automatically, it's connected to the chart that we use to create our pivot table. Sorry, yes, it's connected to the chart that we use to create the slicer. Automatically, the pivot table that I used to create this chart, it is connected. Now I want it to be connected to the other pivot tables, which is this pivot table and what this pivot table. So I click on the two of them, which means all three. The slicer should be responsible for all the three. And I click OK. Now, what was about to happen? When I click on one, instead of just this being responsive, the three of them are going to be responsive. So if I click on grade 11, can you see that aside giving me the count of students' name for grade 11, as you can see here, it also is also giving me the average, what grade 11 students, the average what in English, the average in what history, the average in what maths, the average in what science. This one is completely grade 11 because here, remember, we're just working with one class. Now, see it, as the chart is changing, also the pivot tables will be changing. Remember, the pivot table is what is responsible for this chart. You understand? So the pivot table is what gave birth to the chart. So it is, the changes in the pivot table that lead to the changes to what in the chart. But for this, our slicer is responsible. At the moment, our slicer is responsible for any change that is happening. If I want to see for multiple, I click on this multiple beside, this multi-select, and I can now click on 2. It can give me so I'm saying I'm checking for what? Grade 10 and grade 11. It's giving me, this is grade 10, this is what? Grade 11. It's giving me the average for English for both grade 10 and 11. So slicer helps you play around your charts, to give you more insights. Can you see that here now? It's just giving us for what? Grade 10 and what? Grade 11. Let's say I don't want grade 11. I want grade 11 and what? Grade 12. Can you see? So before we go to dashboard, is there any question on slicers, or do you need me to go again? To go over it again one more time?
Please do.
Okay, let me go over it again one more time. So let me cancel this. And now I'm deleting what? This slicer. Now, this chart, we have our initial chart. This 1, 2, 3. Got it from this what? 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Got it from what? This 3 pivots table. 1, 2, and what? 3. Now I said slicer is what makes it responsive. You can use any of your charts to what? Create your slicer. You can use this third one, this second one, this first one. All that matters is how do you get your slicer to show. So I clicked on this second one. That's what I used. And I said, let me get my slicer. So I went to what? Pivot analyze. This is it up here. Then I went to what? Insert what? Slicer. Then I pick what? I said, what do I want? What now? I'm asking myself, what do I want to make my chart responsive? What criteria do I want to use? Remember, this class, grade, semester, subject, student name, and subject are also the same thing as, let me cancel it so you see it. They're also the same thing as all of these table names that we've been using. Can you see student name, class, subject, grade, semester? So they are the ones responsible for the slicers. So let's go back. So I click on this, then click on pivot analyze, then click on what? Insert slicer. So when I click on insert slicer, I say I want, okay, we used class before. Now let's say I want subject name to be responsible for all of my charts. Mind you, okay, since I explained the first one, let me show that we can use 2. So let's say I want subject name and class. And you see, you can pick more than one to be responsible for what? For my charts. So I click on what? Okay. And you see now it has given me what? 2 slicers. Sorry, let me delete it. It's not student name. I wanted to pick subject. So let me do it one more time so you see it. We've clicked on this, pivot analyze, insert slicer. What slicer do we want? We want the subject and what? The class. And click on what? Okay. Now can you see? It has given us what? 2 different what? Slicers. Now, because we used only this one, this second one, to create the slicers, what is going to happen is that whatever you click will be responsible for only the second chart. Remember, this chart is in line with what? This pivot table. And it's now this pivot table we use to generate our slicers. So let's assume I click science here. Science is only for year it's changed. It's giving me science for grade 12, grade 11, and grade 10. If I click on grade 10, it's only give me for science and grade 10. If I close this filter for this subject, yeah, it's only giving me for grade 10 because I have grade 10 here. Clicked. But I'm not saying no. I don't want you, this slicer, as you are here, I don't want you to work for only this one. Work for all the 3 charts. So what I do is that when I click on the slicer, this slicer tab will come up. So you click on it, then go to report connection. Now I said automatically that chart, the pivot table that you created for that chart, the initial pivot table that I used to create this slicer, which was this is pivot table 3, which was what we used to create this slicer, will automatically be ticked. But we're not saying aside this one, we'll let the slicer work for pivot table 4 and pivot table 2. That is 2 and 4. Do you understand? Meaning let it work for everything that is here. And I click on okay. Now I want you to see the difference. Now, what I want you to notice, look at this. I've not connected this particular one to this 3. I've connected this one to this 1, 2, 3. So if I click on grade 10 now, look at the 3 charts. Can you see that the 3 charts changed? Are we together? But let's assume I leave this grade 10 and I click on history. Can you see it didn't touch these 2 charts? It only touched this 1 chart. Why? I have not connected this slicer to the remaining 2 charts. I've connected this particular slicer to all of the 3 charts. But this particular one, I only connected it to this one. So it is not connected to this remaining 1, 2. So to close the filter, I close this. And I close this. So let's also make this second one. Let's make this one connected to all of the charts. So if I click science, it only work for this one. Are we together? But I want to make it work for all of the charts. So what I do is close the filter. I'm on it. Go to slicer again. Report connection. I want it to connect to all of my pivot tables. Then I click on okay. So now if I click English, you see that it will change on all of the 3 charts. So this is English. Can you see? It's giving me English, the average grade for English, the number of students, count of students in English, and the total for English. Are we together? So that's how slicers work. Make sure, so whenever you create a slicer, as many slicers as you create as possible, most times you won't have many slicers when working with your dashboard. Whenever you create a slicer, always remember to connect it to all, if not all, the pivot tables that you think that slicer you would want it to be responsible for. Which of the pivot tables do I want my slicers to be responsible for? Like, meaning to make your charts responsive. So instead of just making one chart, like the multiple charts, that's all about slicers. Are we together? Is there any question? Okay. So in the absence of any question, let's move to, kindly open the Excel sheet that I sent to us on the group chat. We'll be moving to creating dashboards today. Please, I need everybody to open it. Okay, no question. So, dashboard, most people's favorite parts of of data analysis. So dashboard is, the final report you are presenting, to the audience, let me say audience, on the entire analysis that you've done so far. So it's now combining all your visual representations together into one unit. So all those charts, we're going to put them in one places, we're going to create KPIs. Now, meaning of KPI means is key performance information or index. You understand? So it's explaining how this I just put it there for us. So when you have the time, you can read through it. So that's what I was saying is KPIs, shows you how the values of how your aside charts, how your business has been performing. You see it's proper when we start. Any question? Okay. So in this, what do you call it? This is, NigerMat is a superstore, and they've contacted you that they want to understand, the key performance of their company. Let me try this out. So they're trying to understand, their total revenue. These are the formulas when you calculate your revenue. Otherwise, I said when you have the time, you can go through this particular part. I just kept it there for you for when you're studying. And now they are telling you what their target is, and how they're just explaining to you how it puts their superstore, like how their superstore is seen in the market space. Do you understand? So they are telling you that these are the KPIs you want to track. Let me just show you this strength analysis guide. So this is the question. So let's assume that now see this section 3 parts. Okay, let me jump. So what this means, it said it has already told that the data set contains 220 sales transactions from NigerMat Superstore across Nigeria's 4 regions. I said before building any pivot table or chart, explore the data. Check how many rows and columns exist. All this I'm putting now is just when you start your analysis, like as a data analyst, these are the steps you should do. You don't just jump to creating your pivot table. You understand? Don't just jump to creating your charts. So it's telling you to just check. You're just going to be looking around it. Now you're going to all the things you've been doing before, all the sum, average, filter. You're just using it to run a quick check on the data. So in case there's anything that you need to do. I said filter by region or category to see patterns. All these ones, it is just for you as the data analyst. You're the only one that can check this. So at least to give you a proper insight, understanding of the superstore and what they are trying to attain before going, before starting the main work to deliver the report to your audience. Now they are telling us that these are the major KPIs they want to track, which is what? Total revenue, total profit. Mind you, this is also like questions, but remember, I always put everything in a possible way to guide us. So they want to track the total revenue, their total profits, their profits margin, their average order value, their customer rating, total, and their total units sold. Now, aside that, you see this, they want to understand like how the revenue was made by the per region, the profits by the category. Now, all these bar charts, pie charts is just me putting it for you. In a real life scenario, nobody will tell you that you should use bar charts, use pie charts. You are the one that will understand the best charts to use in your dashboard to give us that report. But because you are new to it, I just put this for us as a guide. Okay, when we are doing this one, let's use pie charts. When we are using this one, let's do pie charts. When we are doing the revenue by membership class, let's do column charts, and so on. So let's start. Now, one thing I can let you know is that at the moment, your data set is clean. I already cleaned the data set before sending it to us. But in real life scenario, you won't get most most companies won't give you a clean data set. You might have to be the one to clean it by yourself. And that is where the real work of data analysis is. That's where the real work is, understanding how to clean a data, understand, to give you a proper insight. So let's start. Like I told you before, whenever you have a data set, now these are the the column names or the headers. We have the order ID, the date, the region, the state, the membership class, the product category, the product name, the unit price, the quantity sold, the discount, the revenue, the profits, the profit margin, the customer rating, the payment method, and what the sales rep. So we have a lot of criteria, or should I say headings. So I remember we have about 220 records. So to start, what we do is, remember, I always tell us, don't use the initial data just in case you make a mistake. Never use the initial one sent to you, except you've stored it somewhere in the initial data, the original data, except you stored it somewhere as a backup. But if you are working on that same sheet that they gave you the original data, what you do is, you create a new one that you work with. Remember, you click on this. I'm clicking on this sheet, and I'm going to what? Move or what? Copy. Please, now to the pivot chart side, I might be a bit faster than before. You understand? Because the dashboard is the main work for today. And if you have any issue, you can quickly call me back. But I need us to finish this on or before 7:45 because that's when our class will most likely end. So let's start. So I think we are creating what? A copy. You know what? Let's move it to the end this time. Let's move it to the end. Click on what? Okay. So we're working with the copy. Remember, this is the copy now. This is the main table. This is the copy, the main table. Remember, you can also rename the copied one. You can rename it if you like. To remain, you double click on it and give it any name that you want. So let's start. Okay, let me rename it. Let's just use it as sales. Let's just use it as sales. The copied data as sales. Remember, we're not working with the original one now. We're working with what? The duplicate one. Remember, what step one that always told us? Step one, when working with your chart, is to always create what? Format it as what? A table. So you select everything. Then click on what? Format as what? Table. Then you pick what? The table that you want. So I'm picking my table. Remember, if your table has headers, always click this. My table what has headers. Click on what? Okay. So formatted as table. We've done step one. Let me see if there's any question. Okay, no question. So we've done formatting as what? Table. Step two, let's go and create our pivot table, our pivot tables. And before doing that, let's do this. Let's create a new sheet for what? Pivot. Rename it as what? Pivot table. Now, back to business. We are working with what? This sales data set. So let's create our pivot table. Now, the KPIs. Let's start with the KPI. What's the first thing it told us? It wants what? The total what? Revenue. Let's use this, the one that has the question, Gongo. It's telling us what? The total revenue. They're saying use sum of the revenue column shows overall business performance. This is just a summary. I'm just giving you people a summary of what to expect. Remember, in real life scenario, some of these things I'm putting here, you won't see it. It's just because we are beginners. You won't see it in real life scenarios. You don't know how you would use your brain, to break down complex situations. But what matters to us at the moment is the KPIs we are supposed to track, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first one says what? Total revenue. So we'll go back to our sales. Remember, to create a pivot table, make sure you are clicking anywhere inside what? The table. So we've clicked on it, then go to what? Insert, and what? Pivot table. Remember, from table or range, we already have what? An existing worksheet. So we click on it. Where is the location? The location is the what? Pivot table. So let's click here. C2. Add this data to model. Then what? Okay. Okay. Now what did the question say again? It says what? It wants what? The total what? Revenue. So back to our pivot table, we drag what? Total revenue. So we're looking for revenue. This is revenue here. And drag it to what? Values. Remember, automatically it comes as what? Sum. Automatically it comes as sum. So let's leave that for revenue. We've done the first KPI. The second KPI says what? It wants total profit. You go back to your sales, you click on it inside the table, then go to insert and pivot table. Then from table orange, an existing location. Then we click on the pivot table tab, sheet. Then we're putting it here, F. Then we what? Add this data to the model. It says what? We should track what? The total profit. So this time we're dragging what? Only total profit. So where's profit? To where? Values. We have what? The sum of what? Profits. Let's keep going. Where's our next KPI to track? It says what? Profit margin. What kind of what profit margin telling us? The average what? Profit margin. That's what it's asking us. The average of what? Profits of the profit margin. So is that just an insight? Whenever you say anything about profit margin, it's always average you're looking for. I think those that are into business would understand that aspect. Profit margin works more with what's its average. So we go to what's pivot table. Sorry, sales. Click on insert and pivot table. From table orange, click on existing worksheet. Pivot table we are using. We click on where we want it to be, which is this I2. We add the data to model. Then what? Okay. What are we dragging? Profit margin. To where? To values. Remember, KPIs, anything that is KPI, majority of the time, KPI is working with values. It's working with what? Values. So after doing that, we put what? We click on this. Remember, we are not working with sum. What it gave us here was what? Sum. Please, that's what I want you to see. But it's not sum we're working with, we're working with what? Average. So we click on this arrow beside sum of profits margin. Then go to what? Value field setting and change it to what? Average. Is average we are looking for, not sum. Then we click on what? Okay. We've tracked what? The third what? KPI. Now, let's go to the fourth one. Please, if I'm too fast for understanding, let me know. No, I just said it now, I'll be a bit fast because we've done this before. So, what's the next one? Average order words value. So we go to sales. So go to what? Insert. Go to what? Pivot table. From table to orange. We're using an existing worksheet. Then the location is in pivot table. I want to put this way. Yeah. Add the data to model. This is out. Then what I say we're looking for again. Let's click on it to check. Average order value. So we look for we're looking for order value. So before I do it, I wanted to show you. Now the order value. Remember. Now if someone told you to find average order value, you look at it that there's nothing like order value in the table. So what are they trying to tell us to do? Since there's not like order value in the table, what are they telling us to do? So we are going to, this is what is explaining. Average of the order value is the average of the revenue. Here we found total revenue. I want to understand the value, the average value of our order. You understand? And to understand the average value is also the average of the amount that we are spending on these things that we ordered. So we go to the pivot table, then we drag revenue towards values. Now, unlike the first time that we use sum, this time we're using average. So we click on this, go to values fit setting, then average. I hope you understand why we used average for revenue this time, because of what order value meant. So when as a data analyst, you do a lot of research before you work, especially if it's in a field that you are new to. Remember, a data analyst can work in any field, but you have to just do research to understand what this field is all about and how you would want to give what they call it, how you want to give reports on, to this audience in that particular field. So that is all about average order value. Then we go to what's the next one? Average customer rating. So you go to sales.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, my question has to do with that column that we have values. That particular field that we have values, sorry. That field, I knew that the last class we had yes, this field with values.
Yes.
I discovered that there is another arrow at the other edge, which though I couldn't find that in my own laptop.
This arrow here?
Not this one. There was another one. I don't know where it was gotten from, but when I was looking at the recording, I saw it there. I tried locating it on mine. I couldn't find it. Aside from this, there was another outer arrow in a situation whereby you have like a 3. I couldn't where we are sorting for, is it a unit sold? They were to look for average unit sold. I couldn't work on the average because it was already recognizing the unit sold. So there was no any other field where I could add this thing there, the third
I understand. I understand what
yes,
you're saying.
yes,
So,
yes.
so the thing is that it's there.
Okay.
It's there. The only time that arrow comes out is when you have multiple things here. You understand? Let's assume I drag a lot of things inside here. Can you see that the arrow has come out now? It's when you have multiple things and that space you can't view it. Can you see I dragged another thing now?
Except maybe for 3, maybe for 2, it wasn't coming out. I was actually trying to look for 3 when we were trying to solve for, you added that question there we did there. You added for average unit sold, aside from the total unit sold. So I was trying to look, so I couldn't do it. I couldn't get the arrows to insert for average, for the average unit sold then. So I was thinking that
No,
possibly
no,
the way of
sorry.
getting that.
Okay, I get you. You don't need the arrows to insert. Do you
Okay.
understand? It's after you insert the arrow will show. Do you understand? Okay,
Yeah.
let me remove this. Let me remove this too. Let me remove this two that I put already. Can I see now that nothing is showing? When I drag the first one here, after that green is there. Now remember, when you want to drag the second one, can I see now that there's no arrow? Now
Yes.
let me drag a second one. Let me drag that same revenue. Now when you are dragging it, make sure this green is showing. So this green should either show on top or where under. On top, under, or what? On top. So when it shows, can you see that after inserting it now, there are two there. The arrow now will show. So the arrow does not show before inserting, it shows after you've inserted the columns that you want. You've inserted more than one field that you want. That's when this arrow will come out. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Okay. If you still have issues with it, you can text me
Okay.
later.
All right. Thank you very
So,
much.
so let's go once again. So how many, which KPI did we just add now? So we're adding this one was the average what's revenue. So let me convert this back to average. Value field settings, then what's average, then what's okay. So we've done the average. And I said the next one it asks for what average what customer rating. So that's back on this sales. I'm going to click what insert, pivot table. From table or range, then remember where's an existing what worksheet, which is what the pivot what table. Let's click here. Add data to model, then what? Okay. It's asking us for what the average rating. So we're going to drag what customer rating to values. Then instead of sum that is giving us, instead of the sum that is giving us, we tell it that we want what average too. So we click on this, click on what average, then what okay. So this is the average customer rating. The average customer rating is what 3.76. Then what is the last KPI that is asking us to track? The total unit what sold. So this one is what sum of the quantity that was sold. So go back to the sales, then what insert. Inserting what pivot table. From table or range, then what existing what worksheet, which is what pivot table. Then add this. Okay, let's click on P first. Then what we're adding this data to model. And what is he asking us for? The total quantity sold. So we drag what quantity sold to where values. So we have what the sum of what quantity sold. So like this, we've tracked all the KPIs. Let me reduce this so you can see it. Yeah. So these are the KPIs that has been tracked. The sum of revenue, the sum of profits, the average profit margin, the average revenue, the average customer rating, the sum of what quantity sold. That is all of KPIs that have been tracked for now. Now let's go towards the other part of the pivot tables, which we'll be using for our charts. All of this you understand it more when we start the dashboard. The first one says that it wants what the revenue by what region. Now what I'm going to do for us, we're going to create all the pivot table first. That's the practical way to do it. It's still your choice here at the end. But we're going to create all the pivot table first. Then we'll come and create what the charts, which is this scattered pivot stacked bar line column bar chart. So the first one says what they want to see their revenue by what region. Pivot table. sales, insert pivot table from table arrange, an existing worksheet. Then what? Add, click a place, add what this data to model, and what? Okay. So excel what's revenue, by what's region. Something is wrong. Which does region have another? I don't see what regions. Region is region. So what is wrong? It's supposed to be showing region here. There's something wrong. So I'm trying to understand what exactly is wrong. Because one of our pivot table is not showing. Can we see that in the sales listing we have region? We have region northeast. But on the pivot table, I'm sorry that I'm delaying. I've not experienced this before. Because all our this thing is supposed to show. All the table names is supposed to show. Abi column name is supposed to show. But it's not showing at the moment. Let me see if we click here. If it is a general thing. It's general. Please give me a few minutes to correct this to see what is wrong. Let me create. I'm coming. I need to find where the error is coming from. So format as table. Can you see? I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is what is going to happen, everyone. I still don't know why. I don't know why we had this issue. Well, because now I redid everything from the beginning again, and it's showing all the categories. I don't know why we had this issue. So please give me like 10 seconds. Let me redo these ones that we've done. So we're working on another sheet now. So I'm about to delete this sheet. So the first one we had was total. Okay, can we do it together? The first one we had was total watch revenue. That's the first one we had. Then the second one we had was what? From table or range. The existing worksheets. Sheet 4. Add this data to model. Our second KPI that we tracked was what? Was total profits. So I'm dragging profits to what values. What was our third KPI? Average profit margin. So insert pivot table from table or range, an existing worksheet. Because what's average what's profit margin. Okay. Then the next one after average profit margin was what? Average revenue. So let me change this to average. So come here, value field settings. Then what's average? Okay. Yes, sales data, reinsert pivot table from table or range, an existing what worksheet. We want it here. Add data to model. The other one was what? The average of what? Revenue. So we drag it here. Change what to what? Average. Then what is the next one? The next one we had in our question was the average rating. So pivot table from table to range, existing worksheets. Tell it to put it here for us, add data to model. give us what our average rating. So that's what's customer rating. We want what average. Sorry, let me quickly. And can you also see my screen? I just need a reply from one person.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay, we're good. Sorry, delaying. I would explain what has just happened there. The last one was what? The last thing we found was what? Sum of quantity sold. So sales data, insert, pivot table.
You can't see your screen again.
Okay. Can you see it now? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I said the last one was what? Sum of quantity was sold. So we're inserting what? Pivot table from table to range. Add model. And what? Okay. So sum of quantity was sold. Then okay, so we've done that. So what we're about to do, according to the question, I'm going to explain something now. Let's first do that question. It said what? It was what? Revenue by what? Region. So let's go back to go to what sales data to insert pivot table from table range, existing worksheets. The worksheet we're using now is sheet 4, that is the name. So let's take it to the beginning. So let's put it here, add data to model, and what? Okay. And we're checking what? According to the question, we're checking for what? Please, let's be together now. Revenue by what? Region. So in pivot table, we drag what? Region to what? Rows. Then what? Where is revenue? I think revenue is it. What's wrong? There's something wrong, and I'm not seeming to get. So sales data, insert pivot table. existing what worksheet. So let me drag region again. So rows and what? Revenue. So what? Values. So let's check this one more time. Okay, so we are good to go. So let me just explain. I'm about to delete the other ones. Now, with how long I've been working as a data analyst, what just happened right now, I've never experienced it before. So which means I have to do a research on what could be the cause of it. But can you see the major reason why I said we should not always be working with our initial data? It's always good to create a duplicate. Now we're creating the duplicate. I was able to get all, where is it? Click on this. All the table rows, the order ID, date, region, all of the table rows, I have them here. Whereas in the first one that we did, which is pivot table, if you take a look at it, I don't have access to all the table rows. Like now, region is not here, order ID is not here. Do we understand? Why did it happen? At the moment, I do not know. Do we get? So always, whenever you are working, don't use that initial data. Always create a duplicate. So whenever you see errors, because I did the same thing again, and it's working. So I would still go back and make a research to understand why whatever has happened has happened. So that is the thing. When on the job, you begin to see new things that you've not seen before. So the more you make research, the more you understand, okay, oh, next time I'm not going to do it this way. Next time I'm going to do it what? This way. So now I want to delete the ones that we had before. We're not using this pivot table sheet again. So I delete it. Then what? These cells that we're using before, I'm deleting it. Now I've seen my mistake. Let me explain my mistake to you people. Let me explain my mistake. Can you see that when I converted to table, I forgot to highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I started from here, from this unit price. Can you see? This is how you would know. The ones that has this filter on it, you know that you've already formatted as what table. So I forgot to highlight everything as I was supposed to, and I started my highlighting from here. So the pivot table section is only recognizing this aspect of the table that I formatted as a table. Remember, to know if your format as table has worked, this would show this arrow, this drop down arrow. Please, I hope you guys just understand the mistake that now I've seen my error, the mistake that I made. I didn't highlight everything. Any question?
No, I said yes.
Okay, good. So you understand the error that I made. Now I'm deleting this since I'm not using it again. So let me rename this back as what? Sales. I rename this one as what? Pivot table. So let's always be wary of those kind of errors. So what's the next part? It says what? The profit by what? Category. Profit by what? Category. So we'll go to sales. Tell it to what? Insert pivot table from table orange to existing worksheet. This is our existing worksheet here. Okay, we select here. Then we click on what? Add data to model. Okay. It says what? The profit by what? The category. So we are dragging profit to what? Values. Then by what? Category. Where's category? Product what? Category. To rows. We've created this other pivot table. What's the next one? Revenue by what? Membership class. Revenue by what? Membership class. So sales, insert, pivot table, from table orange, existing worksheet, pivot table. Let me put this here. So I say what? You should give me what? Add to model. Said what? Revenue by what? Membership class. So we drag revenue values and what? Membership class. What? Rules. Now that we are done with that, what is the next one is telling us? Monthly revenue what? Trend. So which means it's just English. What is it telling you at the end is what? Revenue by. Okay. For one reason, we'll create this. We'll create this, but because I don't think I've shown you people how to format each table, but let's create this. Monthly revenue trend, it means it's just telling you the revenue by what? Each month. So sales. So insert pivot table from table to range, existing worksheet. Add to what? Model, and what? Okay. What is it asking for? For monthly what? Revenue trend. So it's dates. We move dates to rows. Then region. So what? Sorry, then revenue. So values. Just keep this in mind. You can see how long it is. Like it's this long because we've not converted our. We're supposed to convert this part to a table. Do you understand? Where we can now, format this pivot table. There's a way to format pivot table. I'm going to delete this. We're not going to add this. I'm just trying to explain to you. Then I'll explain it how we work on this tomorrow. So because we did not format the pivot, let me show you. This, we didn't convert it to a date column initially because that was part of what I was supposed to show us tomorrow. The last things we're supposed to show us tomorrow. So I'm going to show you, and that's him tomorrow. So I'm going to save this once we are done, and I'll keep it, and you see it tomorrow. But you'll not see it in the pivot table for now. But I'm just giving you a little explanation. So what's supposed to happen is that we should be able to convert each of these to months. So it does the revenue. It sums it by what? Each month. So so we are not working with this for now. Keep that in mind. So let's go back to the question. It says what? Sales rep what? Performance. Sales what? Rep performance. Now, it has told you what? It wants the sales rep in the rows, then what? The values in what? Revenue. And also they want to see their quantity sold. You get, so the sales rep performance we are checking. I want to see the revenue made by each sales rep and the quantity that was sold by each of these sales rep. So in the pivot table, I'm using the same one. Let me remove this. I'm trying as much as possible not to confuse us. That's why that date one, I have kept it. So we are going to do it tomorrow when I show us how to convert a table to, to the values that are supposed to be there, like creating a restraint. So back to what I was saying. It says what? The sales rep was performance. So we drag what? Sales rep to values. Now, sorry, sales rep to rows. So these are the unique sales rep. We want to know the revenue made by each of the sales rep. Revenue made by each of the sales rep. Then finally, we also want to know what, according to the question, it says we want to know, sorry, the quantity sold. So for, I think it was Buku Bami that asked that question. You see now that there's nothing here, like it's just one that is here. So if I drag quantity sold should be under what? Let's look for it. Quantity sold. If I drag it, can you see this green? Make sure this green is showing to tell us if we want it on top or what below. So I want it below. I put what? Quantity sold. So it has told me the total revenue made by this sales rep, Amaka Obi, and the what? Quantity sold by the sales rep. The next one, it says what? State level sales by what? By region. State level what? Sales by what? Region. So let's look at it. Now I've given you a clue. So we want the region and state to be in the rows and the quantity sold to be in what? Values. So I'm just putting this here in case you don't understand. When you start as data analyst, when you see all these kind of questions, that's where you can make your research and know what to do. So the state level sales by what? Region. Remember, in our data, we have what? States, and we have what? Region. So the region comes, then what? The states. So we create what? A pivot table. From table arrange, existing worksheets, pivot table. Yes. Let me close this so I can have a section I want to put it. So I want to put it here. Sorry, let me close this again and let me cancel this. So I'll do it again. So pivot table, from table arrange, an existing worksheet, which is what? Pivot table. We click where we want it to be, add it out to model, then what? Okay. So now we are dragging what? Regions to what? Rows. And still states, because it's multi-level we are doing. You can decide you wanted to put states in column. But because we are working multi-level, see how it looks like if you put states in column. But since we are working with multi-level, we are going to drag states under here. Can you see? For the east, this, north, this. And what is it asking for? It's asking for what? The sales. Sales means what? Okay, for the sales, what they want us to see is the quantity sold. So this person is telling you, no, it's not their revenue I want to know. I want to know the quantity they sold. So I drag what? Quantity sold. So what's revenue? So we are done with that. I think we have 2 more to go. This one says what? Payment method by membership. Payment what? Method by what? Membership. So go to sales, insert, pivot, existing worksheet. So let's put this here. We've never started dashboard. So okay. So what? Is it? Membership. So let's put membership in rows. Then what? Payment what? Method. Now, can you see that? I want you to see something. When we did this, it has not really given us what anything. Look at the question again. So what he wants to know is what the payment method by membership. I've already given you a guide of what he wanted to do. So membership rows, payment method, what columns, then counts. Now, it's your choice. What count do we want to do? Do we want to do count of columns, like count of the payment method, or count of what membership rows? So we'll go back to that pivot table, pick one. So let's use payments method. Drag it to values. Remember, I told you anything that is textual, when you drag it to values, it will automatically do counts. But if it is numbers, integers, if you drag it to values, it will automatically do aggregation, which is sum. So if I put it here, it has done what? Count. So it's telling also bronze, the bronze, what they call it, members that this bank transfer, use bank transfer method are what? 22. You understand? So it's counting. Even if you use, let's assume we remove this. Let's assume it was not payments method we use. Let's assume it was still membership class we use. Because it's an intersection, we'll still get the same thing. Can we see? So it's your choice. What are you using to count the values? Is it the membership class or what? The payment method. But this is what they're after. They want to know which bronze member, like the bronze membership class, how many of them use bank transfer? How many of them use cash to pay? How many of them use mobile wallet? How many of them what use POS? Do you understand? Is there any question before I put in the last one, which says discounts versus rating? Any question? Okay. So the last one, we're going to insert pivot table from table or range, existing worksheets. So let's put it here. And what's okay. So sorry. So it says what? It wants the discount versus the rating insight. So in the pivot table, doing what? Discounts. Discount will automatically go to values versus what? Customer rating. And that's giving us for the two. Now, what is left to us? Sorry, let's go. What is left to you? Said, do higher discount lead to better or worse rating? Now, when you're working with the scattered, when we get to this scattered plot, you can decide by yourself, because you know there is scattered plot too. That's what I'm just saying this one, because you know. You can decide by yourself what do you want to be in the rows that you're using to, as the criteria for your scattered plot.
Sorry, please, can you come again with that last one? I didn't know where you put that rating.
Okay, let me do it again. So I've created a pivot table. So I dragged discounts. Now, according to the question, this is a bonus. It is a bonus. It is just why I put it there for how would I say it? How you think when you see a question. You understand? It's because there are many ways. There are many ways you can do this. What you just want to know, like I already told you, do higher discounts lead to a better or worse rating? Investigate. So what I just did first is, okay, I already know I'm working with what? The two tables, which is what? Discounts that I drag to values. Then what? Rating. Let's look for rating. Rating should be customer rating. Customer rating. I dragged it back here. Can you see whenever it shows that green? So I've dragged rating here. That's why we have the discount and what? Rating. But because we know that we want to use, we're about to use a scattered, what they call it, a scattered plot. You can now decide what do you want to as the basis, for doing checking the scattered plot. So what I mean by basis is, do you want to use, category to check it? Do you want to use the product name to check it? Do you understand? Because yes, giving you a full value, but you still need an inside breakdown of this plot. You understand? But this, if you work with this two, if you create a plot with this, it just give you 2 dots. So it's not giving you what you want. So it's not your choice. Do I want to understand how my goods have been working, have been performing based on their category, or based on the product name, or based on the sales rep? So it is your choice. I mean, I'm saying I want to check it based on what category. So I drag category to this place. So that is all about the pivot table that we've created. Do you have any question? Because we've not started anything. So I don't think anybody should have issues with pivot tables, because like this now, technically we've used 3 classes to talk about pivot tables. Now, remember one thing I said. Whenever you create a table, make sure you do convert everything to table. So you click on everything. Sorry. So let's start with this one's down here. Click on it. Design. Report layout. Show in tabular form. Click on this. Show in tabular form. Show in tabular form. I'm doing that for all the tables that I have created. Always learn this. Always make sure you learn this to how this zoom in here. Because especially when you start working, that you might create a lot of pivot tables. Always learn this. I'm just showing you how to zoom in and zoom out. So back to what we're doing. Design, report layouts, show in tabular form. Click on this, report layouts, show in tabular form. Okay, where's the last one? This. Showing what? Tabular form. Now, we've done step 1. Step 2, we want to create our dashboard. I'm not going to insert the charts yet, so that this will not look too congested for us. I'm not going to insert the charts yet, but let's see how we create dashboards. So, please, let me see. Is there anybody with questions? Okay. Now, we are going to create a new sheet and name it what? Dashboard. How do we zoom? Okay, please look at the screen once again. So I'm a pivot table. It's just this place down here. Look at this side. That has this minus and plus button. This minus and plus button. So you can just drag it. If you're dragging in, you're zooming in. You're zooming out like this. And you're also zooming in when you're dragging it this way. You understand? That's how we zoom both inside and outside. Mami Courage, do you understand what I just did? Or should I do it one more time? Mami Courage. Is he here? He's here. Do you understand? for the sake of others, let me just do it one more time. To zoom in and out an Excel sheet, you come to this section down here. This section down here, you see it, the plus button to zoom in, the minus button to zoom out, or you can click directly on it and drag it the way, whatever way you want. That's how to zoom in and zoom out in Excel. Please, let's start dashboard so we can finish it tomorrow. So, creating a dashboard is creating, a complete and only visual representation of the entire work you've been doing. Now, in Excel, this is better, is sweeter when creating a dashboard with what's Power BI. So when you get to the Power BI section, the Excel aspects will open your mind on how to use the Power BI. Now, to do that, first step is we want this place to feel blank, this entire screen that you're looking at. So what I first do, I will light up to a point I feel like I'm satisfied with. So let me light up to V. Now I light down to where I'm satisfied with. So let me light up to, let's say, 70. Then you can go to view. We are going to view. Please, I need everybody to follow because I'm doing this just once. I'm going to view. This is view. Now in the view, what do I want to show and what do I not want to show? I don't want the grid line to show, so I click on it. Don't show me the grid line. I say if I click on grid line, the grid line is showing. If I click on it, it's not showing me. Then I say the headings. I don't want to see what headings. And I can also decide, although it's not necessary, but let's just do it before you see it. I don't want to see what's formula bar. Formula bar, if I click on it, can you see this thing is here? If I click away, it's no longer there. If I click on heading, this A, B, C, D, and this 1, 2 is there. If I unclick it, it's no longer there. Now, we want to give the background of our dashboard a color. Let's go to home and let's say we want it to be what? Red. So let's click on what? Red. Our background is now what's red. Do you all understand what I just did? Like up to this point? Let me just press Ctrl Z. How I did change my background to red. I came back to home after everything. Remember, everything is still highlighted. You see these buckets in here. These buckets. You can click on it and choose whatever color you want. I choose what? Red. We can use blue. Let's use blue. You can use blue. Any one of your choice. But this one I'm not using blue is because of some things you're about to insert. So I don't want to confuse us. So when you start working on your own, you can choose whatever color you want. So let's go back to what? To red. Let me see if there's any question. Okay, no question. So where are we? Now, want to give our dashboard what's a heading. Dashboard is just dashboard is just designing. All you're just doing on creating dashboard is just putting things and trying to design to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Because it's very important that the visual representation is also nice to the people seeing it. You get. Now, for me teaching you, I might not give you the most beautiful dashboard because it's just more about you understanding it. Because it takes time for it to, beautify your dashboard. So, is there any question there? Okay, we really have 30 minutes left. So we'll continue the dashboard tomorrow, but let's do the major things. So step 1, I want to give my dashboard title a name. So I click on insert. Please, once is 5 minutes, someone should stop me so I can continue tomorrow. So I click on what's insert. What am I inserting now? I want to insert a shape. So I click on what's illustration. When I click on this illustration, I click on insert, I click on illustration. I come to what? Shapes. Then I click on what? This rounded what? Corners. So I click on it. So I drag it to my taste. It's there already. It's there already. Let's leave that one. Then let me draw another one. Click on insert. Let me take this away from here. So insert illustration. Click on shapes. I'm picking this one. Now you remember, you can pick any shape of your choice, but majorly it's either this is from this rectangle to pick shape, either the normal rectangle or what this rectangle, like top rounded rectangles, or what all rounded what corners. So I'm still clicking on all rounded corners. Then I draw one here. Now this particular one, let me just give us a quick overview. This is going to be for our heading. This is going to be for the KPIs that we have tracked. So all I can now do is duplicate it. I press Control D, D for dog. So I press it 1. Can you see? I drag it beside. I press it again, Control D 2, Control D 3, Control D, Control D. So I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 6 is to track the 6 KPIs that we have. So we arrange them. We've arranged them. Now, the last thing for today, let's give it a heading, and we'll be done for today. Why tomorrow? What we are going to be doing tomorrow is now to be putting in the remaining chart and slicers, and you see, the magic of all the work you've been doing so far. Do you understand? So let's give it a heading. Now, first of all, let's give this shape a format. What color works best with? Let's fill this black. Let's just fill it black. Then we insert text. Okay, you know what? Before we fill it, let's insert the text. So take this text box. Please see it in this shape. Let me go out again. When I click on this, I'm on shape format. Then I click on text box. When I click on that text box, now I draw that text box that I want to use. You can draw it up to any point of your choice, but don't let it go beyond the initial this thing you created. And now I want to give my analysis a name. So the name of the store is Naija Mart. So we can put it as what? Naija Mart Superstore Sales Analysis. Analysis. Then after doing that, I can highlight it, give it a font of my choice. So let's give it like 28 or 32 is okay. We can make it bold. All these are your choice. Then let's center align it. So we come up here. Please look at this place, this alignment here. So I'm clicking here. It should be in the middle and should be in the middle. Are we together? Now I'm saying, let's give this a color. So let's change this to white. Please highlight it. Please just keep following me. Please be highlighting it because in the next 2 minutes I'm stopping. Then I want to change this to white, the text to white. So I'm clicking this place. Remember, I'm on the home tab. I'm clicking this and I'm changing it to white. I know we cannot see it, but let's leave that alone. Then let's go to shape format. Shape format. Remember, we're seeing this shape and fill our shape as black, so that the white can come out. Then we can say the outline. We don't want any outline to show, so no outline. Remember, I'm on shape format. I clicked on shape fill, said it should give me black. In the outline, I said I don't want any outline. Remember, at the end, all of this is still going to be your choice. It's depending on how you want to design your own dashboard. So in next 1 minute, and I change this to what? I click on this and I change this to what also? I'm on this shape now, this other shape, the shape outside, and I change it to what? Black. So like this, we have created what? We have created, the beginning part of what our dashboard. We've told whoever we're working with that we're trying to do an analysis for what Nigeria, what sales maths. So tomorrow, if please, I'll need us to come as early as possible, because so that we can use at least the first 1 hour to finish this dashboard and the remaining 1 hour to do revision on everything that we've done so far. Because by Wednesday, we would most likely be moving to Power BI. So let me save this. I'm saving this for us. So this is the beginning part of the dashboard. Just I've given you an insight. What we're about to do in the next place is here. All these remaining spaces, come and add our charts and our slicers. So in the next 2 minutes, is there any question? Please, is there any question before we get to the other parts tomorrow? And you're free to also message me if there's any place you do not understand. Check. Okay, in the absence of any question, please, okay, I'll look for a YouTube link too to send today, maybe a very short one, so at least you see an insight of what we are doing tomorrow. Please, let's join very early, so I will not have to wait the 20 minutes that I waited today. Oh yes, about 20-25 minutes I waited today is what has, it took a bit more of our time. Do we understand? So please, let's come as early as possible tomorrow. See us tomorrow, and also come with your questions tomorrow. And thank you very much, and good night. In the absence of any question.
Before tomorrow lecture.
Sorry?
I hope we are getting this replay before tomorrow's lecture.
Hope?
The video of this, the replay.
Okay, it will be dropped before tomorrow's lecture.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good night.